What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're back here in Forza Horizon 4 today to check out the Rossion Q1, which is a new rewards car for this week for completing the playground games. It's not new to the Forza series, but it's finally just been reintroduced into the game for Forza Horizon 4 this week. This car actually is designed off of the production designs for the Noble M400. They actually purchased the designs from Noble. And another thing that I found out that was pretty interesting is they also had bought out Mosler and are working out of their old production facility down in Florida, and they're actually planning on making an updated version of the Mosler, which would be absolutely amazing if you ask me. And I'm going to shut up here for just a second before we get to the house so you guys can get a little bit of a sound of what this car sounds like from the outside and the inside. It's a really, really good sounding car here in Forza. It's a little bit higher pitched and a little throatier when you get it from the front. Let's check it out from the inside now. It's a little deadened out from the interior, but it's not bad at all. It still sounds really good on the inside. And for this being a 2010, I really like the interior of this. I've never seen what the inside of a Noble M400 looks like, so I can't really compare it exactly to know how much the interior is based off of that car, but regardless, it's a very nice looking interior. Actually, I'm going to jump in here real quick and turn my map off so Anna will shut up. Okay, now we can finish our quick little test drive stock here without having to listen to her anymore. It's a very nimble little car. It's honestly surprising how easy it is to get around traffic. And I seriously over-revved that. I was thinking about turning downshift to the second, and then I decided against it because of that car. Probably should move my controller so I don't keep taking away control of the wheel from it. I keep hitting the throttle on my legs as it bounces around. It's a really stable car even at those speeds. It's kind of surprising me. I mean, I expected this thing to be good from everything I had heard about it, but I did not think it was going to drive this well. The brakes on this thing are just absolutely amazing too. Sorry I'm not talking much, guys. I'm just trying to get a feel for the car and just see how it really drives when I push it a little bit. A little bit understeer there. Take it on a quick run down this section of highway here. See if we can't see what the top speed of this thing is stock. I'm not really sure what it is. I actually did not look that up at all before I started the video. $195. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, it's about what I was expecting. I thought maybe we'd hit 200 or just barely break it, but pretty close. It's crazy how sensitive the steering is and how direct the car is when you go to steer into something. It does not need very much input at all. This is a really fun car for this kind of thing, actually going up and down the highway, just weaving in and out of traffic. Kind of almost makes it a little too easy though. The power in this car is extremely smooth coming on too. A lot of what makes it so easy to get it around the corners though is you don't really just hit a big spike of power and break the rear end loose. Alright, since we're almost up to the castle here, we'll go ahead and jump up there, check out the upgrades on this thing real quick, and give it a little look in Forza Vista just to check out everything on it. Stopped right at the gate. Alright, before we go in and check out the customization, we'll go here in Forza Vista and just kind of look over the car up close real quick, because I haven't had a chance to yet. I didn't really check out any pictures online either before this. I don't think you can say it's exactly a Mosler. It's very, very similar though, for sure. Let's go ahead and just pop everything open here now and check everything out. Got a front mount radiator. Really low mounted to the ground too. That'd do a really good job of pulling cool air in. And they got a huge heat extractor here on the hood too. It's got to be an extremely efficient cooling system. That's actually pretty crazy for something produced by even like a small specialty factory. Very compact back here. Everything is extremely crammed in there. You can barely see the motor at all. It's really interesting layout how they have everything though. You can see some of the ducting and stuff back through here in the wheel wells. Really nice interior. It looks like there's a lot of aluminum accents in it. You can tell it's a little older. There's not a ton of carbon in the interior. It doesn't look like at all, hardly. Yeah, it doesn't even look like we have any kind of carbon inserts in the door or anything, which for a car like this, by today's standards, there would be carbon fiber accents everywhere and probably very, very little aluminum. Figure I'd start it up here in Forza Vista and let you guys get a little listen to it here again. The cars always sound a little different here, I've noticed. Looks like we have a little battery disconnect down here under the dash or something too. I can't quite tell exactly what that is. Anyways guys, let's go ahead and jump into customization, check out, see what we can do to this thing. Probably take it out and do a race or two with it after this. I'm not sure what I want to build it up to yet. We're almost at the top of S1, but we do have some room for upgrades, and I'm not sure how far into S2 this thing can really go without really changing the car. So for engine swaps, we got the Racing V12 and the 7.2 V8. That's kind of crazy option for this thing. I wonder how this thing would drive with that in it. Might have to do that just for fun to see what the characteristics of the car are going to be after that. 'Cause that's a pretty insane option for a car this small. Speaking of, I forgot, I wanted to check out the weight here real quick. This thing is 2,675 pounds right out of the box, so it's already extremely light, 450 horsepower, which really explains why this car's got so much acceleration. I don't want to all-wheel drive it yet. I want to go ahead and stick rear-wheel drive unless I really, really need it just to grip up with how much power we might put down. Forza Aero's not terrible in the front anyways on this. It's kind of goofy looking though because it does have such a large, wide front end. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I actually really like these stock rims. I'm not even gonna change them on this thing. So on race tires, we still are under the top of S1, so we might stick there just because I don't want to just throw this thing under too much insane power and just have it not drive as well as it does now. I feel like if you put too much on this, it's gonna be just like a rocket ship. It's not gonna be fun to drive or very controllable. Go ahead and throw all these drivetrain upgrades on here real quick. I'm surprised we still have this much room at the top of S1 after going full tire width and race tires. So we aren't on race suspension already. I didn't think we were with how high this thing set and how it rode. It felt a little bit soft, but it was not soft in a bad way. It just did a really good job of absorbing all the bumps. Hopefully that upgraded suspension doesn't ruin that feeling. So we can bring this thing down to 2,200 pounds. It's insanely light, especially because I'm sure this thing can have an insane amount of power thrown on it with either one of those engine swaps. So throwing race twin turbos on our stock engine only gives us another 51 horsepower, which to me says we're not going to be able to get a lot out of this stock motor. Yeah, so if you look at the cams and turbo, you're only getting an extra 100. That's not much extra power. I really want to see what this thing can do at 2,200 pounds. So we are going to go ahead and go over here, and we're going to throw the Racing 7.2 V8 in it, which, like I said, I think is an absolute insane option to have for this car, but we're going to give it a shot. So just throwing the turbos on it, we're already over 1,000 horsepower. I really do not know if I'm going to be able to keep this thing rear-wheel drive doing this to it. We're going to see, though. I'm going to try to drive it rear-wheel drive with this much power. 1,154.
Perfect.
I wonder how much power we're going to have to brake S2. Are we not going to be able to brake S2 without all-wheel drive? This I was not expecting. So we have over 1,300 horsepower, just barely away from the top of S2. So we throw all-wheel drive on it and we go to 999X class. Look at that body roll after giving it a little bit of throttle with that big Racing 7.2 V8 in it. That's insane. This thing accelerates like a rocket ship. That is absolutely nutty. I keep trying to look down and watch and see what my speedometer's doing, but I'm afraid to get on the throttle for too long because you go through so much road, it's like impossible to keep up with if there's a car in the way or not. I think we definitely need to take this over to the highway and give it a run on that and just see what kind of acceleration it has before I take it out and do any kind of actual driving. Man, that Racing 2.7 V8 sounds so good in this car. That's just absolutely bonkers, and it actually still drives really well. I'm honestly amazed right now. Thing definitely is easy to slide around now with that kind of power under the wheels. Did I just say under the wheels? I meant going to the wheels. This thing is insane. And it does not stop pulling, which is exactly what I thought with that kind of power and that much torque in a car this small. Oh, I should have stayed in the throttle. I forgot this is all-wheel drive. You gotta power through that little bit of understeer. Still though, that is mind-blowing. I cannot believe this thing is that fast. And still does not drive bad at all, even after the all-wheel drive conversion. The way this thing goes through 150 to 200 just blows my mind. Oh, we're going way past. I was so focused on the map and didn't realize how much ground I was actually just eating up at those speeds. By the time I looked back up at the road, I was already going into the median, or the roundabout. Wait, would that still be a median since it's the center of the roundabout? Not really sure. Anyways, guys, let's go try to find a race real quick. I want to see how this thing does. I'm actually really interested now because it's just insane how fast this thing accelerates. you guys can see there on the loading screen, we are at the Elms and on the C Sprint. Oh, I got somebody at my door. This track has a decent amount of turns, few nice little straightaways, so it really will kind of show me what the car is able to do, and if my tune's actually any good or not. Being a car that was originally built with a third the power that we put to this thing, and as light as it is, I kind of feel like it doesn't matter how great your tune is, especially since I did not throw aero on this. Since I'm already an X-Class 999, I probably should have, just to get the benefit of having that extra grip, but I just didn't do it. But because of that, I kind of feel like the car just is going to be a little lacking compared to some of the other cars in X-Class, at least with how I have mine set up. If I was building it strictly to be like a competitive X-Class car to race with, that would actually do well, I definitely would want to throw Forza Aero on it, just because it is so insanely fast and you really want to utilize that with the downforce. Oh no. Saved it, but definitely lost a little time doing all that. Definitely a very difficult car to drive well with this kind of power. Saw that Lamborghini start to come over, so I tried to give him some room. That really slowed me down. It's so hard to commit to this car, even knowing it's all-wheel drive with throttle, to get it to pull through the turn and get rid of that understeer. Just because I know how much power this thing has, and I feel like I'm just gonna light up all four tires and go flying. Oh, way too fast into that corner. Let me finish halfway up the grid. I mean, you could definitely get better with more practice in this thing, or like I said, aero. How are all of those S2 cars that fast? I mean, I guess I was making a lot of mistakes in the corners, which it's kind of hard not to when the car accelerates that quickly between corners. Especially not really knowing the layout of the road you're driving on that well. But that's still pretty insane. Especially with the kind of power we have in acceleration. I cannot believe that that was a bunch of S2 class cars. They were like pulling away from me in a lot of sections. Anyways guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you get a chance to get this car. It was a bit of a pain for me to get. It did take about an hour, I want to say, overall. Maybe a little bit less. But that was also getting a car set up and ready for it. Going out to do the Playground Games event to get the car. It's definitely a cool little car. I would not really recommend building it up to this level to drive around. I'm probably going to take mine back, pull off most of the upgrades, throw the stock engine back in it, and just upgrade that and get it to the top of S1 class. I feel like for that, this car would be absolutely incredible because of how fast it is and how well it handles. So definitely try to give it a shot to get it, guys. Don't get frustrated. If you get beat the first couple matches, try to stick it out, see if maybe your team can get the third one. You can maybe turn things around. After that, though, just drop out and go try to find another team and start over. Eventually, you should get dropped in a good enough group that you can get through it. That was what my luck had to be. I was doing fairly decent most of the rounds I had played, but I kept getting stuck in either uneven teams on the losing end of it, or just in groups of people that didn't really know how to play the games or weren't very good at them. So it did take a little while for me to get this car, but I will say it was worth it. It's really insanely fun to drive, especially if you just do go all out with it just to have a little fun and see what it's capable of doing like I did. I do want to kind of take it back out one more time after the video just to see what kind of top speeds it can really hit, because I never did actually top this build out. Anyways guys, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe down below if you did, and I'll see you guys in the next one.